What's up? Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and you are in the right spot. This is where we discuss real life, real problems with real people. You're going to get unstuck. Now, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and share this with a loved one. Let's get ready to get unstuck. Have you, as a parent or as a busy business owner, said to yourself, I know I got to make content, but this stuff is getting overwhelming? If that's you, if you said that or you're feeling that, I'm going to help you remove that feeling today. Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and today we're going to talk about how do you make this whole content stuff simple. We want to make it simple because we have things in life that we have to do outside of content. If you're a parent, you have the child running, asking for snacks, bath time, bedtime, schoolwork. You have all sorts of things on your plate. Content is probably not the number one thing that you want to give attention to, but you have to of some sort. So let's just break down how we can do this. I'm going to just start off by saying, first, consider an audio podcast. This is what you're hearing right now. This is an audio podcast. And my reasoning for that is you can do this almost anywhere, anytime. You don't need a big setup at all. You don't need a lot of space. You don't really have to do any editing, and you don't have to worry about like graphics and reels and things of that nature. Reels takes at least maybe, if you're good, 10 minutes. If you're not good, maybe an hour to make one. You can do a couple episodes in that time. Now, I'm biased towards that because right now you hear my child running downstairs. I'm biased towards that. And with that being said, it just makes things so much easier. You can build a community around your audio podcast. You can build a subscription around your audio podcast. You can connect at a deeper level with your people with your podcast. And you're not fighting the algorithm. So I'm biased on that. But let's just say you want to have something that you do put on social media and things like that. Before we get there, make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to this channel so we can continue to help more people, and make sure to share it with your loved ones. So the first one was audio podcast. The second one would be having content pillars. We've heard this before, maybe not, or content themes. I like to look at themes in this way, which might be a little different than how we usually hear it. Having themes doesn't mean you're stuck doing it one way. It just helps you simplify your process. I strongly believe if the process is simple and simplified, it's 10 times easier to actually follow through with. If it's not simplified and it's a hard process, you're gonna be hesitant to actually go and do the content, especially on days when you're stressed out, or you're overwhelmed, or the kid or the business partner, everything is sucking up your time. So here's how I look at content pillars, and I'll tell you mine. Content pillars, I would say pick about 3. Can you do more? Yes. Can you do less? Yes. It's all up to you, but I like 3. What I do is I have 3 categories that I talk about a lot. My categories is, the first one is I call it RAM, Results and Advanced Marketing. This is where I'm giving you something that will get you a result if you follow it. I'm not scared of giving it away. We're giving up the sauce. I'm giving away something that you can do to help you get a result. Me giving away maybe a PDF, or me just telling you something to do that will help you, aka I always tell people to repurpose your content, reshare it, save some time, copy and paste that whole thing all over again. That's me giving you something that you can get a result from immediately. The result can be saving time, saving stress, getting some more money, getting some more followers, connecting more with the community. So that's my first one. My second one is storytelling. I'm always telling some sort of a story because I want people to be able to see themselves in the story, recognize I can identify with what they're feeling, and I always leave off with something that I got some victory that came out of the story, or some victory we're about to obtain, right? So one thing I talked about, which did well, was I talked about me quitting jujitsu and coming back to it, what that felt like. And people were, what's the word I want to use? People were encouraged to realize you can step away from something and come back to it. However, the feeling in your head or the mental struggle is real. And that's what I was talking about. In the end of the story, I told them, hey, but we can do this one step at a time. And somebody hit me up and they were like, hey, I started my journey again because I saw what you posted. So stories, I always tell stories about Aaliyah, my 4-year-old, the co-host, because she's always with me. So I like telling stories. And then my third one is calling people forward, not out, forward. I want to talk to people at this time of my life. I don't have lots of time to convince somebody of things that they should do. That's not my ministry. That might be your ministry, but not mine. I want to call people forward or up, meaning, hey, you've been sitting over there and you know you should have started that podcast 10 months ago, and you keep letting time be the issue. You kept letting this be the reason. You know it's time to do it. Let's just go ahead and do it. In some way, I'm calling them forward. I'm letting them know you have the ability, you have the skill, you have the, if you were in church, the anointing, you have these things. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm not embarrassing them. I'm calling them forward. People need that at times. So those are my pillars. So within those pillars, I can have tons of little subtopics inside of that. From my results in advanced marketing, I like lead magnets. I like giving you a minute of something that I did that worked and that worked for my students. I'm giving it to you for free. With that, people usually end up wanting to do more business with you or wanting to start business with you. And then my storytelling, people love to hear the stories. They love to feel a part. The last one, calling people forward. People like that way more than they like being called out. Called out feels like you're being like some mean old principal. You guys may not know this movie, but Matilda, Miss Archibald, like being that type of person. That's how I do it. So I'm going to say first, audio podcast. You can do video too. That's cool. Video is a little more trickier, but it's possible. Second, having content pillars. The third one, I'm going to say, honestly, take this tip. I've given this tip tons of times, and I cannot stress it out enough. Before I give it to you, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And think about this. We are launching, by the time you hear this, it might be launched, programs for you to enroll into to learn how to start your podcast. Drew, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be behind the mic because I don't feel like being extroverted, or I know I have a message to reach people. Go to my website, go.drewcost.com. Individual sessions and group sessions are now available. The last one is the 1 minute rule. This is my 1 minute rule that I have for people that it makes sense. I want you to take down the top 3 to 6 questions that you get asked or what's asked about your field. And I want you to answer them in 1 minute. Now you're going to do 3 videos. Each video is going to be 1 minute long, answering one of those questions. And then you're going to write about it. Each problem, you're going to write about it for however long it takes you to write about it. I wouldn't take a long time at all. And then the third thing you're going to do with that is you're going to talk about it again, but this time you're going to hide your face. This is what we're going to be calling a voiceover. Now, with that being said, my first 3 is my videos. I got 3 videos I can post. I'm going to answer questions again. I have 3 things I can post that has some writing in it. So this is what I can use as like a quote post. I can put a picture up and then put that writing in the post or on my newsletter, however you do your marketing. Then the third one is like a voiceover. Voiceovers are really, really good because if you have some old videos of you like doing anything, you can just go inside of CapCut, upload your audio, and then overlay those videos right on top of it. That's super cool because you can use videos of you gardening, you playing with the kids, you cooking, whatever you do. And people now have this package of being with you doing some of those things, sort of say. And they also have the voice of you answering those questions. Now, you might say, Drew, wouldn't that get old? Not really, because there's 3 different ways that people are hearing the same exact solution being solved. Marketing is not really so much how many things you can say. It's what needs to be said and how can you keep saying it with your unique way, your unique spin, or as I would say, your sauce. So if you're busy, these are ways that can help you do it where it's simplified. You do not need to be spending tons of time on content. Or if you're ready to pay for it, you can outsource and you can pay for someone to do your content for you. You can hit us up, go.drewcost.com, and we'll help you out. I hope that helps you guys out. Aaliyah's getting ready to run downstairs, so you know what I'm saying. Be great. I'm out of here. I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend. Okay. Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.